Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Swoosh Technologies webinar, Unlocking NX CAD Hidden Gems in NX2506, Part 1. In this presentation, we're excited to showcase the latest and most impactful enhancements inside the NX2506 release. Get ready to discover powerful features that can elevate your design processes. Now, this part is part 1 of a two-part series we're going to be doing. The Swoosh Unlocking NX CAD Hidden Gems webinar series is designed to delve into key NX CAD topics. Participants will gain valuable insights through discussions on essential tips and tricks, as well as exploring the latest functionalities inside the software. We're confident that you will gain invaluable knowledge and insights on how to effectively utilize NX to elevate your CAD skills to help you design your products with the NX software. My name is Michael Pinto. I'm an NX CAD application engineer and instructor here at Swoosh Technologies. With over 26 years of extensive experience inside the NX CAD program, I've had the opportunity to work on diverse projects ranging from aerospace part design to innovative consumer products. Now, in my current role here at Swoosh Technologies, I have the pleasure of supporting our customers in maximizing the capabilities of Siemens software products. I'm passionate about teaching and empowering the customers to create outstanding designs using the Siemens software, and I'm dedicated to helping them in pursuit of creating the best possible designs inside Siemens NX. Now, my specific areas of expertise are in the following areas of the Siemens NX software: 3D modeling, advanced surfacing freeform modeling, model-based definition, and application of PMI to your parts, as well as assemblies, advanced assemblies, drafting, sheet metal, stage modeling, and many other areas of the program. All right, so taking a quick look at our agenda for this afternoon, we'll be looking at the following topics: Designcenter NX branding update, as well as core design sketch enhancements in NX2506. The first item we'll be looking at briefly here is Siemens rebranding of the NX product to Designcenter NX. When you install Designcenter NX2506 release, you will notice subtle rebranding on the software splash screen and on the NX header showing the Designcenter words. What is Designcenter? Designcenter is going to help organizations overcome design challenges and prepare for the future with uniquely scalable, comprehensive, and flexible design portfolio of products. Designcenter scales effortlessly from startups to global OEMs, supporting growth across supply chain and enabling smooth data exchange between products and capability tiers. The NX and Solid Edge software products, customers have access to the industry's most advanced fully integrated design portfolio, and Siemens continues to expand this ecosystem, delivering the broadest range of capabilities and a unified experience. Designcenter also adapts to your workflows, integrating seamlessly with simulation, mechatronics, and other domain tools. Its industry-leading interoperability ensures smooth collaboration within Siemens solutions and with CAD data from other systems. It's also built to evolve. Designcenter combines scalability, capability, and flexibility to help teams innovate faster and design their products smarter. So let's take a look at Designcenter's product tiers. Designcenter is a very flexible, versatile platform designed for all users of NX, offering both browser-based desktop experiences. It's built on a unified technology stack, including Parasolid, D-Cubed, Kineo, and JT, ensuring strong interoperability between NX and Solid Edge. Unlike competitors with fragmented systems, the portfolio is going to integrate AI capabilities and built-in data management powered by Teamcenter X. NXX, a key part of the offering, does feature 4 scalable tiers that operate seamlessly across browser and desktop environments. That's going to provide unmatched flexibility, functionality, and affordability for organizations of all sizes, from startups to global manufacturers. So let's take a look at Designcenter's value-based licensing. NXX will continue to leverage value-based licensing, which remains a differentiator in the market, providing unmatched access to the full breadth of NX's capabilities. This offering provides unparalleled flexibility through immediate access to new functionality as it is released into the value-based licensing pool. One subscription is going to unlock access to all products within that pool, and this is a game-changing, cost-effective solution and provides extreme accessibility to explore more design iterations and increase innovation, ensuring that users get the most out of the NXX experience. Designcenter offers the most complete digital thread with flexible licensing known as NXX value-based licensing. Today, there are over 140 integrated Designcenter optional modules available through the NX value-based licensing token pool. One purchase is going to unlock access to the entire pool and immediate access to new functionality in every release. There are no cost barriers to implement this new functionality in the program. All right, we'll begin to take a look at our next item of discussion here, Sketch Enhancements, NX2506, and introducing the new curve creation functions designed to enhance user experience by providing intuitive controls and comprehensive feedback, effectively addressing a wide range of customer requests here. The interface for creating sketch curves has been modernized, featuring a streamlined layout that improves accessibility and ease of use. Interaction dynamics during curve creation have been refined for a more seamless experience, which allows users to create and manipulate curves with greater precision. A pencil cursor visually indicates when the user is in Create Curve mode, providing a clear signal that they are in the process of drawing. The accompanying handle dynamically follows the cursor, providing real-time feedback for more accurate curve placement, and the system employs a color-coded feedback mechanism for snapping options. Orange indicates that no snapping is currently in effect, allowing for free movement of that point. Yellow is going to signify point on curve snapping, assisting users in aligning to existing curves. And green will denote coincident snapping, ensuring that points are accurately aligned with other geometry. The auto include feature is designed to automatically snap to off-plane entities, enhancing the workflow of users working in three-dimensional spaces. And users have the option to select preview dimensions they wish to keep, facilitating a more controlled dimensioning process during the sketch creation. The system provides versatile input support, accommodating mouse, stylus, and touchscreen interactions for personalized user experience. Additionally, the integration of a journaling API now allows developers to create programmatic functions, enabling advanced automation and customization of curve creation process inside the sketch environment. So Siemens has introduced several new interaction methods to make curve creation more intuitive and flexible while maintaining support for legacy workflows. The legacy interaction of a two-click method for creating your curves still exists. The traditional method of creating a line remains available inside the sketch solver here. Simply click once to set the starting point, move the cursor to your desired endpoint, and click again to complete the line. There's also a new press and drag interaction. You can now press and hold the primary mouse button, drag the cursor to define the curve or arc, and release to finalize the creation. This provides a more fluid and dynamic way to sketch your curves. There's also enhanced locking options during curve sketching. You can lock the drawing direction for precision, use the secondary or middle mouse button to lock the current direction. Alternatively, you can pause your cursor and NX will automatically lock it for you. To unlock the curve, simply press the middle mouse button again, or give your mouse a quick shake to release the lock condition. Adjust the curve handles. If you need to reposition the start point or any handle of your current curve while it's being previewed, you can easily do so. Use your primary mouse button to select and drag the handle to a new location. This is ideal for correcting snap points or refining the geometry. There's also a new trim and extend support built into the curve creation command. It now supports trim and extend operations directly within the workflow, allowing for seamless adjustments without leaving the command. Siemens has introduced the ability to chain curves, a powerful enhancement for creating precise profiles. With this feature, we can now define lengths, angles, and radii and easily apply those parameters directly within the interface. The update also streamlines the creation of reference geometry, a feature many users have requested. Instead of converting existing curves to references, you can now create reference geometry from the start, eliminating the need for additional right-click conversions. For line creation, we now support both standard line segments and infinite lines, displayed as dashed lines, and you can also combine both types in a single operation, offering greater flexibility in defining your geometry inside the Sketch tool. A new profile function has been added and can be accessed via the right-click menu. When you begin drawing lines or arcs, you can enable the chain curve option either by toggling it on directly or by using the right-click menu to activate it. Once enabled, you can seamlessly switch between drawing lines and arcs using the right mouse button. The dialog box will automatically update to reflect the active function, and for example, when switching from a line to an arc, the interface will change accordingly. This enhancement allows you to efficiently create reference geometry or stamp specific length lines. As you sketch, newly created curves will intelligently snap to existing geometry supporting tangency, perpendicular, and parallel constraints. This ensures greater precision and a smoother design workflow. Siemens has introduced enhanced tangent feedback functionality in the software. And the example to the right, the user will switch to the arc tool, which allows them to control how the curve behaves by moving the cursor through the first handle. At the end point of the line, you'll notice that the cursor is moved back and forth. The curvature adjusts dynamically. To create a reverse curvature, simply return to the initial handle and move the cursor back to it and pull from the opposite direction to generate the reverse arc. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at a demo of the new curve creation functions in NX2506 Sketch. So here we are in NX2506, and I'm going to be demonstrating some new capabilities with the sketch functionality for drawing curves, as well as creating a chain of curves and some of the new things we discussed over in the presentation. So we'll start out with a line. I'll go ahead and activate the line tool here. You'll note, before we even do that, you'll note that the profile tool has been retired because you can quickly draw profiles with the new capabilities built into the line and the arc tools here. If you do hit the drop down, you'll see there's a couple of different options related to creating lines. This is a general line creation tool here, and then we can also do a line from a midpoint. Also on the arc drop down, you'll see the arc option and arc from center option. Going into the standard line tool, we'll go ahead and start there. Now you'll note when you do start to draw with the curve tool here, the new cursor that shows up is going to be this pencil indicator. And when you are just moving the cursor around, you're going to notice that the orange ball is going to be at the end of that cursor there. So this indicates that you are free to move the cursor. You're not snapping to anything inside the space. But as soon as I bring the cursor over to this y-axis, you can see that changes to a yellow color. So it is snapping to the y-axis. When it does, this cursor does snap to something, it gives the user instant feedback, basically stating that you are snapping to something, and changes the color of that ball or the sphere handle to the yellow color here. All right, if you move that away, it goes back to the orange appearance here. So let's go ahead and create a curve. So I'll left mouse button down to start the curve creation. Now, just like with the previous way that the curve tool worked, as you start to draw the curve, you'll see it's going to snap in different orientations. If you stop moving your cursor, it is going to snap into the horizontal orientation here. All right, you can easily get out of that condition if you right mouse button click and you turn off the lock relative angle. Now I can once again move the cursor around and freely change the orientation of that line. Now if I get into the horizontal and stop moving, you'll note that we get the horizontal indicator. And for a second there, if you wait, you're going to see it automatically locks it into the horizontal here. You'll also note when I do move the cursor back and away, there is a kind of a reference curve there. And you can see that this curve is now locked in the horizontal position. Again, if you want to remove that or free yourself from that condition, you can easily right click and go back into turn off lock relative angle here. So right mouse button click brings up the context menu. And you have additional options here as well. All right, so that's the first thing with drawing a line with the new curve setup here. And if I stop, you'll know it is the actual solver is finding conditions as we start to draw these curves. Again, if I stop moving, lock relative angle, turn that back off, I can change the angle here. Now you'll note that the software is automatically generating a preview dimension on that curve as I'm drawing and extending the length on that. If you want to enter your own value for the length of that curve, all you have to do is type in the value on your keyboard. As you'll note over in the line dialog box, the number 8 for the length is actually highlighted in blue there. That means you can currently type in a value if you want to give that a known value here. So if I type in 12, you'll see the number 12 is entered into the entry box there. I can hit the enter key now, and I can lock that value in and lock the length. You'll also note once you hit the enter key on your keyboard that the length lock box has a blue check mark next to it, and that indicates that this is now locked out. If you want to remove the locked condition, you do not have to go over to the line dialog box. You can right mouse button click, and you can go ahead and turn off the lock length option here, and then you can readjust the size of the length here. All right, so that's the basics. If you want to go ahead and control the angle on that curve, you can easily go back over and type in a given angle if you need to, or you can go in here and you can lock the angle right there. So once you set the angle out here in the graphics display and position that, you can right click and you can choose to lock the angle here. And that way my angle has been locked. All right, you'll note inside the line dialog box, it does say that that angle is locked, and it gives the indication with the blue check mark next to the lock indicator. If I want to unlock that while I'm out in the graphics display, again, right mouse button click, and I can go back into unlock that angle, and I can freely move the cursor, and my curve is going to change its angle now. All right, there are some additional things with the line now. I can right click. You can create reference geometry very quickly with this tool. So if I choose create reference geometry, you can see it converts over to that reference type line. If I right click, I can deactivate that condition there, and you can see I'm right back into a standard line creation mode here. We have some other options. If you right mouse button click and go into your line output type, currently it is creating a segment only. So this would be a standard line segment. But if you want to create or add an infinite line, you can click on that, and you can see it's also going to draw the infinite line almost like a guide, an additional guide inside your sketch environment here after you create the curve. If you right mouse button click, you can go right back into the line output flyout menu, and you can deactivate that mode, or right click and go back in and choose segment only and go right back into the segment only creation style. Right mouse button click one more time, go into line output type, and we also have infinite line only. So if you want to start setting up some guide curves here, you can switch over to infinite line mode only, and now you're just drawing an infinite line which can act as a guide curve inside your environment here. Just like that. Now, as you continue to sketch additional curves here, you'll note it goes right into chaining into the next from the previous point, that last point we created. And with that mode, you'll see, I'm going to switch this over, right mouse button click, go to line output and go to segment only here. It's going to break that condition, and we can begin creating another curve here. All right, so that's the basics of the line tool here. And now we'll begin to take a look at some different techniques for creating some curves inside this environment. So I'm going to go ahead and close this and delete a couple of things we created earlier. Going back into my line tool here, I'm going to create a chain of curves here with this one tool. So left mouse button click, second to create the first curve, and you'll note that automatically the line tool goes into a chain mode here. So after I finish that second point for the first line, I can continue sketching, and it's going to be chained to that endpoint of the previous line here. Now I can also create the second curve endpoint, and I can keep on chaining this profile. Now, in addition to that, if I do want to break the chaining condition here, there's three techniques for doing that. The first one being, you can come over to the dialog and you can click on break chain. But instead of doing that, you could also do that out in the graphics display. If you right mouse button click, break chain is available in the pop-up context menu here. Additionally, as you're drawing your curve, you can hit your middle mouse button click on your mouse and you can break the chain. And now you can create a separate set of curves here. So it's very easy to work with this, very intuitive to be able to create these chained profiles inside your designs. And you can see as I move this curve down, the indicator right there, the handle turns yellow because we're snapping to the x-axis. As we come across, you can see the solver is finding different relations. In this case, we have a horizontal relation and a collinear relation with the x-axis. And if you wait long enough, it's going to go ahead and lock that into the horizontal for you automatically. And now you can just go ahead and focus on how long you want that curve to be here. All right, if you want to get rid of that locked condition, again, remember right click, and then you can go ahead and turn off the lock relative angle, and you can readjust the angle of the curve to create the curve. All right, so as we go back around, if there's a point that you want to move that you've already placed, so maybe you mistakenly created that point over there at the end of that last curve, and you want to go ahead and move that, all you have to do is move your cursor, the pencil tool, back over until you see the little crosshair indicator over that first point for that curve, previous curve, and you can drag that and reposition that start point for the current curve that you're creating. All right, so now I can create the second point and click down to finish that creation. All right, so that's the line tool. A lot of great capability here, new functionality with this tool. And I recommend exploring that, getting familiar with the new functionality to start to create your designs with this new curve operation. Now let's take a look at creating a profile. So we're going to leave the line tool active here. We're going to create a profile. I'll start by clicking and just creating a horizontal curve. And now if I want to go ahead and transition into an arc creation mode here, we can go ahead and right mouse button click, and on the context menu, we can switch over to the arc creation process here. Once I do that, you can see we now have an arc that's coming off the end of the previous linear curve. All right, if you do want to continue creating the arc, you're going to define the radius size of the arc here, and you can left mouse button down, or you can type the radius value in. As you know, over in the arc dialog box, the radius size input has a blue background. Therefore, we can type in a size on our keyboard. So I typed in 10 there, and now I can hit the enter key to lock in that radius size. Once I've locked in the radius size, we can go ahead and create a tangent condition depending on where you move your cursor here, and you can create that tangent condition with the linear curve. All right, snapping locations will also be working here. As you'll note, as I snap to what would be the 90-degree location for the arc, 90-degree angle, if you will, it's going to snap in that location, and then I can left mouse button click and finish the arc. All right, now that I've created that arc or clicked in, I can go ahead and finish the rest of the arc and come around and finally click on the final location, which would be the 180-degree angle snapping location here, and finish the arc. Now you'll note with the arc being the last item that I created, it's going to continue in the arc creation mode here. So you can see I can pass the cursor across the last point, and I can go off and create an arc off in this direction. If I want to create a tangent arc off of the previous arc, all you have to do is place your cursor back over the node and then pass it off to the left, and it creates a tangent arc off of that endpoint. All right, so that's how you can create the tangent arc off of the previous arc there, or if it was a curve, off of a linear curve. So just put your cursor back over the previous node or the start node for the new arc, and then you can come back up and create what would be almost like a perpendicular off of the previous endpoint. All right, if you want to create the tangent, remember, come back through and pass it off to the left or pass it off to the right. And that's going to allow you to create the tangent condition with the next arc off the previous arc. All right, so once I finish that arc, you can see I can click down, finish that off. But now, what if I want to go back into the line creation mode? Very easily, all you have to do is right mouse button click, and you'll see the line option is on the context menu here. Click on that, and you can go right back into creating a line inside your sketch. All right, so that's how you can use that tool to create these chains between linear curves and arcs very quickly with this tool. So this is a replacement for the retired profile creation tool, but now you're either starting with a line or an arc, and you can quickly go back and forth between the different creation modes with this tool. Just like you saw over there with the line mode, we can right click and go back into arc mode here, and I'll pass that off tangent. And we can right click and we can create reference geometry with an arc if we'd like to do so. Or we can right click and go right back into turning off create reference geometry to get a true curve here inside the environment. All right, if you want to break the chain, again, you can click on break chain here. We can lock the radius, and you can also turn off chain curves here. All right, so once you break that, now you're just creating a separate arc inside the space here. One more item I would like to mention with the line tool or the arc tool and just drawing curves in general. If I go back into the line tool here, you'll note that when you do begin to draw your curve, you'll see it does have the orange spherical handle there. But as you move over, you'll see it does turn green. So that's going to give you the indication you have snapped to an endpoint of another piece of geometry, whether that's the end of a curve, a line there, an arc, or even when you do snap to things like points inside the environment. You'll have that green color change giving you the direct feedback as a user that you are actually sitting on another piece of geometry right there. And it's really a snap point, whether it's an endpoint, a midpoint, or a point itself. As I move this over to the endpoint, you'll note it goes to that green color. If I go to the midpoint of that curve, you'll also note that it goes to the green color here. And one final item here related to the sketch enhancements. There are two new functions that have been introduced by Siemens: line from midpoint and rectangle from center, both developed in response to customers' requests here. So in the demonstration, you can see the line from midpoint feature allows lines to be drawn starting from the midpoint rather than an endpoint. Note that relative angle, chained line, and chained arc options are not supported with this function, as those tools are designed for endpoint-based operations. The rectangle from center function does provide a notable improvement over the earlier rectangle from midpoint tool introduced in previous releases. It offers more stable geometry, making it easier to apply dimensional constraints and make adjustments. The behavior when modifying the dimensions or repositioning shapes is smoother and more predictable now, and these enhancements continue to improve usability and design efficiency based on customer input. So that concludes the webinar presentation portion. I hope you found the information provided during the presentation helpful to gain insight on the new functionality with the NX sketch tool enhancements that were introduced by Siemens in NX2506. At this point, thank you for attending the event, and we can open the floor to any questions you may have about any of the items you've seen in this presentation.